Today we set out to solve the million-dollar question, the question that we can't live without knowing the answer to. Should a looter shooter fan play Suicide Squad? Let's find out. But before that, I want to say thank you to Warner Bros. Games for sponsoring this video. There's a lot of things that you'll be familiar with and like if you're a looter shooter fan thinking about playing Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League is a new third-person action shooter featuring an original story in the DC universe and set 5 years after the events of the Batman Arkham Knight. Now, in terms of why a looter shooter fan should play this game, well, for starters, Suicide Squad is not a game that dies after you beat the initial campaign and is a live service game that will continue to deliver content well beyond its initial release. We'll be talking about some of the things coming in the future in just a little bit. I don't want to spoil the story, but it's awesome. It has amazing cutscenes with a mixture of seriousness and humor.
Ever had ice cream before, Sharky? Atta boy.
One thing about us gamers is we love to be challenged. And sometimes if there's only one difficulty, we can find ourselves desiring more. Luckily, this isn't an issue that we have to worry about in this game as Warner Bros. Has us covered. In Suicide Squad, there are 3 different campaign difficulties that you can play on. There's Walk in the Park, Best Pay Attention, and Sweating Bullets. Each of these scales up and makes for a super tough but memorable experience. Post-campaign, there are even more difficulties that you can choose from as well, so you can continue to test your skills as you progress. And speaking of difficulty, one thing that I did really notice, especially during the boss fights, was the level of ad density. It's actually insane, and I was really surprised at how difficult this was, but also how fun the boss fights were overall. There are going to be a ton of enemies coming after you over and over and over that are going to be extremely tough to kill, so this is not a game that you're just going to steamroll in higher difficulties. Also, for you lore lovers out there, they have audio logs or squad interviews that add a bunch of background lore to the world, and you can unlock a ton of these on each character that you play on. Unlike other games where you might not get to play as a bunch of different characters, in Suicide Squad you get access to 4 different characters. You get Harley Quinn, King Shark, Captain Boomerang, and Deadshot. Each of these 4 characters come with unique skills and abilities to master along your way. Their mission is to save the Earth and kill the world's greatest DC superheroes, the Justice League. And I think that's my favorite part of the game, speaking of the Justice League. As hardcore players, we love bosses and especially ones that provide a fun challenge and have mechanics. In every great looter shooter, we love bosses and especially ones that provide a fun challenge and a memorable experience. As someone who loved the Justice League growing up, having to face all of your childhood heroes is weirdly nostalgic and exciting at the same time. In this game, you'll get some fan favorites like The Flash, the Green Lantern, Batman, Superman, and more. Let me know who was your favorite Justice League superhero growing up. Mine personally was Batman, and I was super pumped to face him in this game. I don't want to spoil anything that happens, but getting to fight evil versions of my childhood superheroes is definitely an interesting experience. Really, all the boss fights were pretty fun, and I'm excited to see what you think of them. Whatever character you choose, whether it's Harley Quinn, King Shark, or any of the squad, you'll be in for a super fun experience when facing these foes. We love mastering different characters, so you're going to feel right at home here. Unlike in other games, each character can't use every weapon type, which I think is pretty interesting. Harley Quinn can use heavy weapons, pistols, and SMGs. Deadshot can use pistols, snipers, and assault rifles. King Shark can use heavy weapons, shotguns, and assault rifles, and Captain Boomerang can use shotguns, snipers, and SMGs. This is much different than what we're accustomed to, and I like it because I think it adds an extra layer of complexity and really makes you think about which character you're going to be using. Speaking of weapons, we know how good it feels to get rare drops in other games. While in Suicide Squad, there are also different tiers of weapons, which adds a huge incentive to chase after rare weapons. There are white weapons that are common, green that are uncommon, blue weapons that are rare, purple weapons that are epic, yellow weapons that are legendary, red that are infamous, and pink weapons that are notorious, and these are the ones that we're going to be grinding our butts off to get. I already know I'm going to be chasing these like crazy. Us looter shooter veterans are very familiar with different weapon factions or foundries. In this game, we get 4 different weapon factions in the game. You have Star Labs, Amertech, LexCorp, and GCPD Lockup. They have their own origin traits of sorts, such as GCPD weapons having balanced stability, accuracy, and ammo capacity. Outside of guns in this game, another thing that we love that this game has is amazing movement. Each character has their own movement abilities, such as Harley Quinn having Batman's grapple gun. And you know we love grappling. There's so much to master here and I absolutely love it. There are also finishers in this game too. Some are tied to your skill tree called suicide strikes, which require a set amount of energy to use, and then there's normal finishers that give you shield energy back. This is something that should feel new and really fun as well. Suicide Squad has a hub kinda like in other social spaces where you go to meet different vendors within the game. The vendors are some characters you may know if you're familiar with the series in the Toyman, Poison Ivy, and Penguin. Think of Poison Ivy as your ability vendor. Similar to upgrading different ability trees, Poison Ivy can upgrade your afflictions, which can give you really cool abilities like frozen abilities or venom-like abilities. Toyman can give you anti-Justice League tech to counteract the Justice League as you face off against them. Think of Penguin as your one-stop shop where you're going to be able to do practically everything. You're going to be able to craft weapons. Yes, I said crafting weapons. You'll be pleased to know that you can craft within this game, which I know will get a ton of players excited. You can also get cool mod-like bonuses where you can get things like bonus XP on kills or 5% ammo gained from critical hits. And speaking of crafting, this game has contracts that are similar to bounties for us grinders out there. When these are completed, they give you resources to craft and overhaul weapon afflictions. You can use all of what we've talked about to help you push through this game's campaign and into the endgame. You'll be happy to hear that there's a ton of in-game content to tackle in a gameplay loop that will continue to keep us coming back again and again, which I know will make a ton of us happy. While we're on the topic of campaigns and endgames, I want to answer a big concern that you may have. Have you ever had a game that you love but you have no one to play with? Well, lucky for you, Suicide Squad not only has amazing co-op that you can play with your friends, but it also has matchmaking so you can play with other people if you're ever struggling to get anything done. This is a feature that I think is crucial for solo players, and I'm glad that they added this feature. And going back to this game continuing to add content after its initial release, in Season 1, the Joker is going to become a playable character when the season drops. It's really cool to hear that there's already a roadmap to release new things after the game's only been out for such a short period of time. Overall, I think this game is dope, and I think any looter shooter veteran should give it a shot. And before I go, let me give you a sneak peek of the opening intro cutscene so you can see what you're going to be getting into.
Makes sense Waller would want the world's deadliest assassin in her pocket. I don't know what she wants the rest of you for.
Knowing Amanda Waller, it is nothing good, in my experience.
What the heck is your experience? And what's the fish doing in Arkham? You got mental health issues, Shark?
Generalized anxiety, but I was brought here from my home.
The ocean?
Belle Rev
Can
Penitentiary.
you all focus for one damn minute? This is clearly a trap. Any of us touch that thing, none of us is getting out of here.
Ah, the prisoner's dilemma.
What's the bloody dilemma? This prisoner wants out.
Come on, Captain. You just got here. I've been inside 5 frickin' years.
Feels like I've been stuck in this conversation for 5 years. Can we please?
Oh, so sorry, Deadshot. Are we interrupting your being strapped to a gurney?
Isn't Deadshot supposed to be white?
Aren't you supposed to be shutting your damn mouth? Kangaroo-looking ass.
Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League launches worldwide February 2nd, 2024 on all platforms. Get the deluxe edition to start playing on January 30th, which comes with the Justice League themed outfits for each squad member, 3 Black Mask themed Notorious weapons, and more. I want to say thank you again to Warner Bros. Games for sponsoring this video, and I hope you all have a fantastic day. I love you guys.